Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So Cardano is currently going down. However, I believe my wave count right here is wrong, and let me explain why. And also, it's not a bad thing that it's wrong. It only means that the wave count that we have on the chart is more bullish than what we thought. Now, let me explain why. And for this, you need to look at the 4-hour RSI. As you can see, we are almost oversold on the 4-hour, and the price barely went down like 20 cents. Now, of course, you could say that 20 cents is a lot, but keep in mind we went up from about 32 cents all the way to like $1.32. So 20 cents is not really a lot when you look at it from this perspective. As you can see, we got to the oversold territory almost, and the last time that happened was literally down here when the price was at about 31 cents. Which means that we could continue the pump and, maybe the second wave move down is already in. I mean, this would not be deep enough for a second wave move down, but keep in mind a similar thing happened in the previous cycle. If you look at what happened in 2020, here we also had a crazy move to the outside. We went up about 100% in 1 month, and then we had a second wave move down, but in the second wave move down right here, nothing really happened. The biggest dump we got was this right here, when we went from 19.2 cents to about 11 cents to test the bull market support band. And that was literally it. That was the second wave move down. So don't expect the price to go down too much. In case it does go down, which I don't know, I mean, it seems very unlikely. But if it does go down, then this is the support zone for the second wave move down. We don't want the price to get below 60.5 cents. Because if we do get below that, I think that will also put us below the bull market support band. And as you can see, the bull market support band is exactly at the support zone right here. Now, of course, I'm not expecting Cardano to get to 60 cents, because if you look at the daily RSI, we are no longer overbought, even though the price only went down like 20 cents. We went from an RSI of about 89 to an RSI of like 66. So the RSI dropped like 33 points and the price dropped like 20 cents. So things are looking extremely bullish, but keep in mind, if we do get some type of correction, it would make sense. But if we don't, it would also make sense, considering the fact that we are almost oversold on the 4-hour, and the last time that happened was literally down here. So nobody really knows what will happen right now. All we know is that Cardano will very likely continue to go up. Doesn't matter if it's this month or if it's next month. Now, let me talk about Bitcoin first, and then let me talk about Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin, as you can see, is just doing Bitcoin things, and I'm still expecting Bitcoin to hit about $120,000 by the end of the year. Maybe even $130,000. As you know, my prediction has always been that Bitcoin will hit about 100K by the end of the year, and we've achieved that. And now that we have achieved that, I'm still expecting Bitcoin to get to 120K, because as you know, Bitcoin always goes out in December of a halving year. In the previous cycle, it went up about 30% or 40% in December, and in the cycle before that, which was the 2016 cycle, Bitcoin went up like 30% in November. So I'm still expecting Bitcoin to go higher, and we'll see what happens with this. If Bitcoin goes higher, then of course Cardano will also go higher. Also, if you look at the Bitcoin daily RSI, I mean, this looks like a trend line to me, and we are now respecting it, so we'll see if we actually drop below the trend line. I could put a trend line on the chart so that we actually do that. And yeah, if we drop below the trend line right here, then it's very likely that we get a bigger correction. Now, this correction right here would not make sense to happen right now. I would rather see a correction in January, because that has happened before, but getting a correction in December, that never really happens unless it's a bear market, and right now we're obviously not in a bear market, so I don't really see a big correction coming up anytime soon, at least not this month. But if we do get one, then this is the support zone for it, and we'll see what happens with this. And keep in mind, if Bitcoin gets to 120K, I think Bitcoin dominance will just continue to go sideways. Now, why will it go sideways and not up to hit a new cycle high? Well, I don't think that's possible anymore. I think we have topped already, and that next thing. Why? So as you can see, in the previous cycle, right here, Bitcoin dominance topped about 230 days after the halving. Right now, it has been about 220 days since the halving, and yeah, this looks like a top to me. It looks exactly like this. And in the cycle before this cycle, which was the 2016 cycle, we did the exact same thing. We topped on the Bitcoin dominance chart after 230 days after the halving, and that's when we had a real altcoin season. So before that, nothing really happened in the altcoin market. Of course, some altcoins were going up, but they are not going up as much when you compare that to this right here. So, the altcoin season should start anytime soon now. Now, of course, it has already started for Cardano. So, Cardano is one of these coins that goes up sooner, I guess. But keep in mind, there are many altcoins that have not even had a pump like Cardano because we have not had an altcoin season yet. This drop is not enough to start an altcoin season for the other altcoins, but this is enough to start an altcoin season on the Cardano chart. If you can remember what happened in the previous cycle, during this time right here, Cardano was also going up like crazy, just like it's doing right now. So I would not be surprised to see Cardano get to about $5, maybe even $8 in this cycle because, Bitcoin dominance barely went down like 5%, 6% almost, and Cardano already started going crazy. Now imagine what happens when we do get a wick like this right here. It's gonna get crazy in 2025. But keep in mind, it is possible that Bitcoin dominance continues to go sideways for another month. And why is that? Well, as you can see, we just had a cross on the bull market support band, and that was about, let's say, 10 days ago or so. And why do I have this on the chart? This thing that says 48 days? Well, let me explain this. So if you look at what happened in the previous cycle, we also had a cross on the bull market support band. And after we had the cross, we did absolutely nothing on the Bitcoin dominance chart. We just went sideways. Now, why is that? Well, because Bitcoin and the altcoin market were moving pretty much the same amount. So Bitcoin was not outperforming the altcoins, and the altcoins were not outperforming Bitcoin. And whenever that happens, Bitcoin dominance just goes sideways. And that's what happened here. But if you check out what happened 48 days after the cross right here, Bitcoin dominance started dropping like crazy. Now let's continue with the 2016 cycle. Same thing happened. We had a cross on the bull market support band. Bitcoin dominance actually went up during that time. It got rejected by the bull market support band. And 48 days later, we started the altcoin season right here. Just like we did it in 2020 cycle, and just like I think we will do in this cycle as well. So this cycle is literally the same as the previous two cycles, and nobody seems to be talking about that. And what does this mean for Cardano? Well, it is possible that Cardano goes sideways for the entire month of December, and if that happens, it would actually be a good thing because we would be able to cool off on the DAR side. We have already cooled off quite a bit, but we could always cool off more. And we'll see if we do. If we do, like I said, we have the support zone right here. And keep in mind, if you look at the monthly chart, Cardano is still looking quite good. I keep seeing these comments telling me that, oh no, Cardano is crashing right now. And I mean, you just need to zoom out. If Cardano is going down like 10 cents, it does not mean it's crashing. I mean, just look at the monthly chart. Does this look like a crash to you? Not really. I mean, it does not look like a crash to me. It looks like absolutely nothing. So, don't get scared. And also, if you look at the monthly RSI, we are not even overbought, which is insane considering the fact that we are like $2 away from the all-time high. And I believe that should happen very, very soon. Now, how soon? Well, let's see when it happened in the previous cycle. When did we break the 2017 all-time high? Well, that actually happened in February of 2021. So we could theoretically get above $3.10 or $3.16, whatever this is, in January or February. I know that sounds crazy, but it is possible if you look at this chart from a monthly perspective. Now, of course, we don't have to do that exactly in February or January. We could do it in March. But I'm expecting Cardano to be at all-time highs in the next couple of months. And then, of course, I'm still expecting it to get to about $5 in the third wave right here, if we want to copy what we did over here, and then to about $7 to $8 in the fifth wave. Now, once I believe the third wave will top, probably in May of 2025. You know what they say, sell in May and go away. Now, why is that? It's because the summer is usually very boring in crypto and nothing really happens. So that could work perfectly as the fourth wave move down, and then what happens at the end of the year could be the fifth wave move up, just like we did right here. I mean, it's the exact same thing. This should not surprise you. And also, as you know, I'm expecting Bitcoin to top in November of 2025. So this goes perfectly well with my Bitcoin prediction. So yeah, if we do get to all-time highs in the next 2 or 3 months, then do not be surprised. And if we do not get a big direction, then, don't be surprised either, because if you look at the months RSI, here, in the previous cycle, we also had a big bounce in November, and then in December, we pretty much did nothing, just like we are doing right now. As you can see, we are not really doing anything, just like we were doing in 2020. And then what happened after that? Cardano went from about 15 cents to about 41 cents in January. How much is that? Well, let's actually go on the daily for this, and let's check that out. That's a 126% pump in January, and then we have another pump in February, which was about, let's check this out, another 300%. So if we do the exact same thing in this cycle, then we could easily go about all-time highs right here and, get to new all-time highs, maybe like $5 by May of 2025, and then $8 by the end of next year. So yeah, that's what I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts. And if you want access to our Discord server, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.